Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Girl Be Free podcast. I'm your host, Siobhan, where I'm going to inspire and motivate you to show up for yourself. So, this week, I'm loving a couple of things. Now that the weather is like so nice and hot here in Cleveland, I have been really enjoying going for a walk. I've committed myself to working out 4 times a week. That's the challenge that I'm doing with the Be Free Inner Circle. And in addition to working out 4 days a week, I also started doing more walking. And it has just felt so good to my spirit. I'll walk for a good 45 or 60 minutes and I'll listen to a podcast. Maybe I'll listen to some music, but it's just been really, really good for my spirit. Another thing that I've really been enjoying is all of the feedback that's still coming in from the episode that I did several weeks ago called The Motherless Child. This past weekend, I got a lot of DMs and they were very long. Thanking me so much, women sharing their stories about they too have mother wounds. They really appreciated the episode and felt like they were seen, they were acknowledged, and they were not alone. And that was the whole goal. That's the goal for me, is to really make space for women. And I just want y'all to know that if you're someone that has a mother wound or a father wound, but specifically mother wounds, that's what I'm working with or dealing with, you're not alone. And there's many of us going through something very similar, and there's just not a lot of conversation about it. And so I am taking I don't know, the baton, we'll say, and I'm going to be in the forefront and talking more about this because I really want the women that are a part of my community, that are Girl Be Free listeners, that are supporters of Be Free Project. I really want to help you start to do the inner work to heal so that when I talk about flourishing and being free and feeling fulfilled in your life, it makes sense because you've been doing the work. And y'all know I've shared on a few of the episodes that I'm now, actually, this past Friday, I completed my part of the Motherless Child Guidebook, A Sacred Space to Healing the Mother Wounds. And so now I'm just reading back through it for some grammatical errors and things like that. I have some friends looking at it for me. And then the next step will be to send it to my graphic designer and she can begin to create her magic. And so I'm excited about this next step. I have so much to share about this whole process, but for now, just know if you are a woman with a mother wound and you need support, you need to figure out where do you even start to heal, I got you. Okay, now on to today's topic, which is titled Heal, Grow, Help Others. So, this is a very simple process, and if you do it in this order, life would be so blissful for you. I shared this quote on IG a few weeks ago, and it really resonated with a lot of my followers and supporters. And I want to kind of take you through my thought process when I saw the quote, and then how I want you to kind of apply it to your life. In order for us to really, be free, and this is totally my opinion, right? And so if it doesn't resonate with you or you don't, you're not picking up on it, it's totally fine. Like, we all have different insights, we have different perspectives, and everyone can feel any kind of way. I'm just sharing what I believe. You chew up the meat and spit out the bones. But in my opinion, we first need to heal from whatever pain that we've been holding on to. And that pain can go all the way back to your childhood. There could be pain in your friendships, in your romantic relationships, maybe employment. Like, there can be pain that has stemmed from something. When you're dealing with pain that is coming from many different places, oftentimes people are walking around with that hurt. They're carrying it year after year after year, and then they wonder why they can't move forward in their life because of the emotional baggage that they're carrying, right? And you have learned how to hold these bags like a professional, but yet you're suppressing everything inside, and it's the main reason why you're not moving further in your life the way that you would want because you haven't dealt with the stuff that's in the bags. So you've been carrying them and you do a great job at doing that. But as far as like going through the bag and taking out the fear and the childhood mess and mother wounds and father wounds and anxiety and overwhelm, like all of that stuff that's in your emotional bags, it's time to go through and start to heal through that stuff. So that way, and I'm going to talk about the next step, which is growth, you can begin to start to see that in your life. And so I want you to think about reflecting. And I talk about reflection a lot. And that is how I'm able, in my opinion, how I'm able to kind of be more self aware, do these self check ins, and realize where I'm at because I reflect a lot. I look at, okay, well, where was I last month? Where was I a few months ago? The beginning of this year, what was going on and where am I now? And I can honestly say that I have grown a lot in 2019, a lot in ways that I didn't even know was going, in ways that I didn't even know was going to happen, but I can definitely see the growth. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to go through, let's just say, your emotional bags, reflect. Okay, are you dealing with fear, anxiety, stress? Are you carrying pain and hurt? Is there a lot of stuff that you just haven't dealt with out of fear? And you've just been so busy being busy that you haven't taken time to kind of comb through the stuff. This is a time that I want you to kind of go through that so that you can acknowledge and identify what you need to heal from. Now, I will say this, the healing process is not easy. It is uncomfortable. There will be some tears, there will be some anger, denial. There will be a lot of different things that will come up, but you are living life and you owe it to yourself to really grow into the woman that you desire to be. And you cannot do that if you continue to carry the pain and the hurt year after year after year. Because what's happening is you think you're the only one dealing with it, or maybe you've suppressed it so far that it's not, in the forefront of your mind, but it still comes out in other ways. And you're passing that on to your children. And I just shared on Facebook recently, actually this past week, I said, I am breaking generational curses so that my children and my children's children don't have to suffer and experience the trauma that I went through. And so I really want you to think about that for yourself, that you are breaking change, you're breaking the curse, the stuff that grandma passed down and mama passed down and your grandmama's mother passed down, like you're breaking that and it stops with you. But the only way that it can stop with you if you start to heal, okay? So now that we talked about the healing, now we have to talk about growth. And that means you start to do the inner work so that you can blossom and flourish in your life. And I want to point out what growth looks like because so often people will tell you what to do and what you should be doing and all of that, but very few people tell you how. And so you're left with these blanket statements like, okay, well, she told me I need to grow. How do I do that? I'm going to give you some practical things that I want you to think about so that you can apply it to your life. And these are just some practical things. You can always add more to the list, but these are some things that came up for me. How do you start to grow? You pause and you breathe. And my energy healer, she recently told me to do more breath work. And she said, you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, and then exhale for 4 seconds. And I noticed when I started doing that in the mornings when I wake up, instantly I feel gratitude, instantly. So that's something that you can do. Also, to be present in the moment. Be present in the moment that you are in. And I talked about this on another episode. Be mindful of what's going on around you. Stop overthinking, being trapped in your past. Be present in the moment and acknowledge what's happening around you. Next, get comfortable with who you are and start enjoying your own company. That means discovering the things that you enjoy, the things that you're curious about, things that you want to explore. Tap into those dreams that you felt like, oh, this is never going to happen for me. Bring that back up, right? And start to get comfortable in your own company and going back to those things that you once enjoyed and starting to do those again, finding some new things that you can do. Another thing when it comes to growth is saying no to other people so that way you can say yes to yourself. Stop giving everybody else your time and then you end up being burned out. And then you're upset and you're angry because here again, you and told mama you would do X, Y, and Z, and now you don't have time for yourself. Say no confidently. You don't owe anybody a yes but yourself. Okay? When you're constantly telling everyone yes, that's you saying no to yourself, and that doesn't feel good. And we as women are stretching ourselves way too thin because we're people pleasers, trying to be everything to everybody, and yet we don't give ourselves the same type of love and attention. All right? So start saying no to other people. I also want you to get comfortable with setting boundaries. Stop letting people take advantage of you. Stop letting people walk all over you. Stop letting people say anything that they want to you. Start setting some boundaries and teach people how they can treat you. Okay? And setting boundaries in the beginning is not easy because people are so used to the way that you've always been. So it will be uncomfortable. It won't be easy, like I said. But in order for you to grow and become the best version of yourself, you're going to have to set boundaries. So then that way, again, you're teaching people how they can treat you. And you shouldn't be treated any kind of way. That's not okay. Next is to be honest with yourself. And not just with yourself, but with other people too. So if there's something that you don't like about yourself, stop sugarcoating it and saying, oh, that's just the way that I am. Tell yourself the truth, right? And then also be honest and tell the truth to other people. Speak your own truth and own your voice. I just recently had a conversation with someone, and that's something that they struggle with owning their voice. So, in situations specifically at work, or when it comes to a conversation and they know there's going to be some confrontation or conflict, they will shy down and not speak up for themselves and allow other people to control the conversation. In order to grow, you have to own your voice and speak your truth. And sometimes, again, that will make other people uncomfortable. But as long as you're doing it out of respect, out of love, and you're honoring yourself, go for it. Next, practice gratitude. In order to grow, we have to show that we're grateful for everything that's happening in our life, even the things that are challenging, because in those challenges, there's lessons to be learned. There's character building. There's strength. And so even when you go through difficult times, still say, you know what, I'm grateful for this because it has taught me this. So I'll say this to you. One of the things that I am grateful for, and this is crazy to say, but I am grateful for the things that has happened to me in my past, specifically with my mother. And had those things not have happened, I wouldn't be the woman that I am today. I wouldn't be able to share the message that I'm sharing today to impact others' lives. No, it wasn't good while I was going through it, but now that I'm on the other side of it, I'm grateful for it because it's made me better. It's made me stronger. I have this beautiful company that's impacting the world because of the love that I have to serve and to help others. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for my commitment to growth. Like, I'm so committed to growing and just becoming the best version of myself. Like, I love that about myself, and I'm very grateful that I won't give up and I won't quit. And so that's something that I want you to do, is to practice gratitude every day. Once you open your eyes, you're breathing, you're experiencing life, show gratitude. You know, show gratitude for the things that you get to enjoy just because. Next, show yourself compassion and grace. Okay? Stop being so hard on yourself. Stop saying mean things to yourself. Stop with the negative talk Show yourself love, speak kindly, and show yourself compassion. Next, accept yourself and let go of the idea of perfection. So accept who you are, your flaws and all, okay? Whatever you don't like about yourself, accept it. And the things that you can change, change them. The things that you cannot change, love them and love on them extra hard, okay? And let go of the idea of trying to be perfect because no one is. Stop waiting for things to happen. Stop waiting for, you know, to have everything just like perfectly right because that's not reality. Let go of that idea and just freely be yourself unapologetically. Another way that you can grow is to read books. Go and pull out that library card out your wallet or go get a new library card. Go on Amazon, whatever you like to do to get, read books or whatever, but start reading more books. Yes, fiction books are great and all that jazz, but find some nonfiction books that will challenge you to grow. I will put a link in the show notes for a complete list of books that I've either read, I plan to read, I recommend. You can find that. I have an Amazon store, so I'll put that link in the show notes so that you can find a book of your choice. But start reading more. Turn off the TV even for 30 minutes and pick up a book and read it. You can also listen to audiobooks on Libby, which is free through the library, or Hoopla or Overdrive. And those are all free links, and I'll put them all in the show notes where you can listen to audiobooks, you can check out ebooks. Of course, like I said, you can go to the library, go on Amazon, but start reading more. Listen to podcasts like this and other self development, personal growth related podcasts that will stimulate you mentally. I have a list of podcasts that I recommend and like in the 101 resources every woman needs to live her best life. I'll link to that in the show notes. So you'll find books in there, you'll find podcasts, websites, and so much more that's going to help you on your personal growth journey. Just commit to being a life learner to better yourself. And then the last thing I want to point out is to check in and be self-aware. Start paying attention to your intuition, listening to yourself. What makes you tick? What triggers you? What brings you joy? Pay attention to all of that and do those self-check-ins. A couple more things I want to add here is drink more water. I know that may sound silly, like how is that going to help me grow? But water fuels you, it hydrates you, clears up your skin. I mean, there's so many benefits to water. And I just want you to commit to drinking more water and staying hydrated. Slow down. Slow down and stop being so busy. Kind of ties into one of the points I made earlier. We're always on to the next thing, and it's really hard to sit still when we're doing this and we're doing that. I want you to start slowing down so you can pay more attention to what's happening internally. You can start to figure out some things for your life. You can just start to learn more about yourself. Just slow down and stop feeling like you have to do all of the things and just sit still and rest. And then I think the last thing I want to share, I mean, there's so many things I can share, but one more thing is to make sure that when it comes to growing, that you're speaking kindly to yourself. Like I talked about showing yourself compassion and grace, but speak kindly. Don't be negative. No more negative self-talk. Let's have positive words only. And then the last part is, so I talked about healing, I talked about growing. The final step is to help other people. So as you heal through your stuff, as you grow, now it's time to help somebody else. Each one, teach one. So share what you've learned with someone else. The things that are working well for you, pass that on to another sister. Help someone else along the way. And if you're an entrepreneur like myself, figure out ways that you can create, resources and products and services that can help the next person. Don't keep all of the knowledge and everything that you're learning to yourself. This is an ecosystem. We're all trying to grow and learn together. So what can you pass over to someone else that's going to help them better their life? Teach other people, share what you know. Don't be stingy. So, this is why I'm creating the Motherless Child Guidebook, a sacred space to healing your mother wounds, is because I've learned so much in this process. And after getting all of the feedback from the episode that I talked about, the motherless child, I'm like, I have to help. I have to create something. I cannot just leave these ladies out here with nothing. And so that is a resource that's going to, and I'm going to do a whole nother episode on this, but it's going to impact the lives of women worldwide. And I'm excited about this. And so I'm creating this because I've healed, I've grown. Now I'm about to help somebody else so that they can do the work as well. So stay tuned because more information will be coming out about the Motherless Child Guidebook, A Sacred Space to Healing Your Mother Wounds. And that is what I have for you today. And so your action step is to actually apply what you've heard today, whether on this episode or maybe it's another episode that you listen to, but apply and do something. Whether that's pick up a book to read, you just focus on setting boundaries, speak your truth, whatever that is. Like I gave you a long list of things that you can do so that you can heal, grow, and then help someone else. Please, if you're enjoying these episodes of the Girl Be Free podcast, share it. Share it with a friend. Share it in your IG stories. You can tag me when you share it. Send me a DM letting me know your key takeaways from the episode. There's always everything that I talk about you can find in the show notes and the links and all that jazz. But be sure to share this episode with your peers. I would really, really love that. And if you are feeling really fancy, you can go ahead and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, a 5-star review that is, and share what you love about the podcast. So thank you so much for listening. And until next time, girl, be free.